In this video, I'm gonna be telling you about everything you need to know about the first sea and the fastest way to level up in it. Okay, so the first island you actually spawn in on the first sea depends on which team you pick. If you pick pirates, then you spawn in at the starter island, and if you pick marines, you spawn in at the marine starter island. Let's start off with the pirate starter island. So there's literally only one quest on this island, and this guy right here gives it to you. And once you equip the quest, he tells you to kill 5 bandits, and once you kill those bandits a bunch of times, you'll be able to go on to the next island. And on the marine starter island, it's the exact same thing, but instead of killing bandits, you actually have to kill NPCs called trainees. These trainees do 3.2 damage per hit, and they have a total of 100 health. And for beginners, this might be kind of a challenge, so make sure you don't run into their hits too much. And the person that gives you the quest on the marine starter island is the marine leader. And once you complete the quest, you get 300 XP along with 350 belly. And this is really good for starting off. And it lets you buy some of the most essential items for the first sea. So the next island you're going to be heading to once you're done with the starter islands is called the jungle. And this is where the game starts to get serious. The jungle is for players that are from level 10 to 30. And you have a total of 3 different quests at this island. The first quest you do is monkeys, and you have to kill a total of 5 of them. And the level requirement for this quest is 10. The monkeys each have a total of 170 HP, and they do around 10 damage per hit. And this is where you're going to notice that you start dying quite a bit, so this is probably where you want to upgrade your defense stats. And the rewards for completing the monkey quest is 2300 XP along with 800 belly. The next quest you have at the island is the gorillas. The gorillas are just basically stronger monkeys. They have a total of 220 HP, and they do around 14 damage per hit. The level requirement to fight the gorillas is 15, and once you complete the quest, you get a total of 4500 XP along with 1200 belly. And finally, we got the first boss in the game, and this is the Gorilla King. The Gorilla King is a level 25 boss who's located at the second part of the jungle island. And since he is a boss, he's actually pretty powerful. He has a total of 950 HP and does 27 punch damage and 73 ground slam damage. And ground slam is one of his abilities, and it's really powerful. And that's what makes fighting this boss really difficult for beginners. But if you do manage to kill him, then you get a total of 7000 XP along with 2000 belly. So moving on to the next island, you actually don't really have any quests at this island, but it is an island where a bunch of stuff is located in the first sea. And this is called Middletown because it's literally at the center of the first sea. And the NPCs that are located on this island are the boat dealer, the luxury boat dealer, the blocks fruit dealer, the weapons dealer who sells you a bunch of guns. And there's only one NPC that actually spawns here, but he's not required for any quests, and he's called the Saw. And he spawns in every hour and 15 minutes, and once he spawns in, you get a huge message on your screen saying the Saw has spawned. You have 15 minutes to defeat him and possibly get a rare reward. And the reward the game is talking about is the Shark Saw. And this is really only good for people that are new to the first sea, because once you get more advanced quests and buy some better weapons, this sword is kind of useless, and there are much better ones out there in the first sea. Alright, the next island where we resume on quests is the Pirate Village. The Pirate Village is an island that's located pretty close to Middletown, and it's for players that go from level 30 to level 60. And there's 3 different quests that you can take on this island. The first one is for pirates. They have a total of 525 HP, and they dish out a decent amount of damage. And you have to be at least level 35 to equip the quest to defeat a pirate. And once you clear with the quest, you get 13,000 XP along with 3,000 belly. The next NPC located at this island are the brutes, and they're really far away from the quest dealer. So when you're doing this quest, I recommend you just kill the pirates. And the level requirement for the brutes quest is 40. And each brute has a total of 675 HP, and they do around 41 to 46 damage per hit. Once you finish, you get 3,500 belly along with 22,000 XP. And finally, we're moving on to the boss of this island, Bobby the Clown. And this boss has a total of 1,775 HP and does 60 damage per hit. And to equip the quest for the boss, you have to be at least level 55. And once you complete the quest, you get 8,000 belly along with 45,000 XP. And this boss is actually the first devil fruit NPC you're going to come across. He has the chop fruit, which means you can't do any damage to him with swords. So if you want to destroy him, you just got to use your fighting styles or your fruit. So the next island after the pirate village is the desert, and this is for players that go from level 60 to level 90. And this island only has 2 different quests, and the first one is for desert bandits. They have a total of 900 health and do 41 damage per hit. The level requirement to accept this quest is 60, and once you complete the quest, you get 4,000 belly along with 45,000 XP. These enemies use a cutlass as their weapon, so this is one of the first enemies in the game that use swords, so be prepared when you fight them. The next quest is for desert officers, and each one has a total total of 1100 HP and they deal around 47 to 49 damage per hit. To accept this quest, you have to be at least level 75, and once you complete it, you get 4500 belly along with 65,000 XP. And once again, these NPCs are located really far away from the quest giver, so if you're farming them, I just recommend you guys do the bandits. You'll be able to level up way faster. So the next island we got is the Frozen Village, and this island is for people that go from level 90 to level 120, and this one actually has 4 different quests, but we'll get to the last one later. For now, I'm going to be telling you about the Snow Bandit. So the Snow Bandits are NPCs that are located pretty close to the quest giver. Each one has a total of 1450 HP and they do around 61 damage per hit, and these guys use katanas as their weapon. To accept the quest, you have to be at least level 90, and once you complete it, you get 5000 belly along with 90,000 XP. The next NPCs on this island are the snowmen. The snowmen are actually pretty weird. They don't actually look like snowmen. I mean, they have like trees growing out of them, which is pretty weird, and they also look a bit creepy. To accept their quest, you have to be at least level 100. They have a total of 1700 HP and they do around 67 damage per hit. Once you complete the quest for these guys, you get 5500 belly along with 150,000 XP. And finally, the boss for this island, it's the Yeti. The Yeti is actually a decently powerful boss for the start of the first sea. It has a total of 4000 HP and does around 135 damage per hit, making it pretty powerful. You have to be at least level 105 to accept the quest for this big guy, and once you finish him off, you get 220,000 XP along with 10,000 belly. He also drops Yeti fur, but you won't be able to use that until later. So the next island you're going to be moving on to is Marine Fortress. Marine Fortress is a really huge island and you literally cannot miss it. This is for people that are from level 120 to level 150. And starting off, the first enemy on this island is the Chief Petty Officer. This NPC has a total of 2300 health and does 95 damage per hit. And these guys actually dual wield swords, so be careful with them. To accept their quest, you have to be at least level 120, and once you defeat them, you get 6000 belly along with 225,000 XP. Next NPC is the Vice Admiral, and this guy is another boss. You literally just have one normal quest on this island. He has a total of 4150 HP and does around 140 to 160 damage per hit. He also dual wields swords just like the petty officers, and the rewards from the quest for defeating this guy are 15,000 belly along with 415,000 XP. And this guy also drops the Vice Admiral's code, which gives you 200 energy along with 20% extra boost to your melee attacks. So it's a pretty solid accessory if you're starting off. So the next island you're actually going to be moving on to is a pretty cool island. It's called Skylands, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's literally floating above in the sky. This island is for people that are level 150 to level 190. And you also got 2 quests for this place. The first one is the Sky Bandit. And these guys are actually the first NPCs in the game which have a race. And that's the Angel race, obviously, because you're in Skylands. Each one has a total of 2550 HP and they deal around 113 to 118 damage per hit. To accept the quest for these guys, you have to be at least level 150. And once you defeat them, you get 7000 belly along with 315,000 XP. The next quest we got in this place is the Dark Masters. And these guys can be found on the 3rd island at Sky Islands. Each one has a total of 2775 HP and they deal around 160 damage per hit. To accept the quest for these guys, you have to be at least level 175. And the rewards you get for this is 450,000 XP along with 7500 belly. And that's pretty much it for the lower part of Sky Islands, but we'll get to the upper part later. Alright, moving on, we got the prison, and this one is actually a pretty interesting location because you actually have 2 different quest givers here. And this island is for people that go from level 190 to level 250. The very first NPC that you fight at this place is the prisoner. I mean, it's literally a prison. What did you expect? To fight these guys, you need to be at least level 190, and each one has a total of 2840 HP, and they do around 130 damage per hit. And the rewards for killing these guys is 550,000 XP along with 7,000 belly. Next up, we got the dangerous prisoners, and these guys are basically prisoners, but they're more dangerous, I guess. Each one has a total of 3000 XP and they do around 142 damage per hit. To fight these guys, you have to be at least level 210. And once you complete the quest, you get 780,000 XP along with 7,500 belly. But that's just from the first quest giver. Moving on to the next one, it's literally just bosses. You don't get to kill any other normal NPCs at this island. And the first one from this new quest giver is the Warden. The Warden is a boss. He has a total of 8,600 HP, and he does around 130 to 158 damage per hit. And to accept this quest, you have to be at least level 220. And once you complete the quest, you get 850 XP along with 6,000 belly. Next boss is the Chief Warden, and he's exactly what he sounds like. He's just a better warden. He has a total of 10,400 HP, and he does around 380 to 389 damage per hit. You have to be at least level 230 to accept the quest for this guy, and once you complete that, you get 1 million XP along with 10,000 belly. And you also have a 5 to 10% chance of getting the Warden Sword, which is a pretty decent sword for the first sea. And finally, the last boss of the prison, Swan. Swan is a level 240 boss, and he can also be found on some other seas, but this is the weaker version of him. He has a total of 11,700 HP and does around 230 damage per hit. He can also drop you the pink code accessory when you defeat him, and it's pretty decent, I would say. Once you complete the quest to kill him, you get 15,000 belly along with 1.6 million XP. Did I also mention that he has the spider fruit, which is a pretty solid fruit, so he's going to be pretty difficult to fight against if you don't have a fruit of your own. Moving on to the next location, this one is called Coliseum, and the level for this island is 250 to 300, and there's only 2 quests here. The first one is called Toga Warriors, and these guys have a total of 3,000 health, and they do around 169 damage per hit. To accept the quest to fight these guys, you need to be at least level 250, and once you defeat them, you get 7,000 belly along with 1.1 million XP. And these guys are also pretty solid fighters, so it's going to be a huge jump from the prison. Just make sure you're prepared when you fight them. Next NPCs you fight at this place are called gladiators. To fight these guys, you have to be at least level 275, and they have a total of 3,375 HP. The damage they do is unknown, but it is way more than the Toga Warriors. Once you finish the quest for these guys, you get a total of 1,300,000 XP along with 7,500 belly, and they're pretty solid fighters, so just make sure you're prepared for this island. Alrighty, so the next island we got on the list is the Magma Village, and this is for people that are from level 300 to level 375. And this island actually has 2 different quests along with a boss quest, and the first one is the Military Soldier. The Military Soldiers are one of the first NPCs in the game that actually use the Haki ability, which means even if you have an elemental fruit, they can fully do damage to you. These guys use a katana as a weapon. They have a total of 3,500 health each, and they do around 200 damage per hit. Once you complete the quest for these guys, you get a total of 1,700,000 XP along with 8,250 belly. The next NPCs are the military spies, and they're a little bit stronger than the soldiers. These guys also have Haki, but instead of using katanas, they just use their fists. Each one of these guys has a total of 3,025 HP, and they deal around 148 damage per hit. Once you complete the quest, you get a total of 2 million XP along with 8,500 belly. And finally, we got the boss of the island, and who better than the Magma Admiral himself? It fits so perfectly. The Magma Admiral is the boss at the Magma Island. This boss has a total of 15,000 HP and does around 284 damage per hit. And he also has some of the abilities of the old Magma fruit, but it's not anything anyone can use now. He has the Z move along with the X move. It's pretty weird that they don't update bosses to the most recent fruit. Overall, he's a really solid boss, and obviously the strongest boss you're gonna face by far. And this boss actually has a chance of dropping the Magma fruit along with the Refined Musket, but the Refined Musket only has a 10% chance, so it's gonna be really difficult to get. I definitely do not recommend grinding this boss just to get that. Next island we're moving to is not actually an island, it's the underwater city, and this is for people that go from level 375 to level 450. And the first NPC you fight at this island are the Fishman Warriors. These guys use katanas as their weapon, and you have to be at least level 375 to accept their quest. Each NPC has a total of around 4,200 health, and they do around 200 damage per hit. But once you finish the quest for these guys, it gives you 3,050,000 XP, and you also get 8,750 belly. Pretty solid if you ask me. The next NPCs at this island are the Fishman Commandos, and each of these guys has a total of 4,500 HP, and they do around 350 to 361 damage per hit. To accept the quest for these guys, you have to be at least level 400. Once you complete the quest, you get 3,350,000 XP along with 9,000 belly. But that's not all there is at this island. You also have a boss who's called the Fishman Lord. This guy's a level 425 boss, and obviously you have to be that level to accept his quest. And this boss is actually pretty unique. He has 2 different phases. His first phase has 18,000 HP and his second phase also has 18,000 HP. And once you complete killing him in his first phase, he just transforms into his second one. So overall, you have to do around 36,000 damage to kill him. He also does 470 damage per hit, so he's definitely one of the hardest bosses by far. But once you kill him, you get 4,250,000 XP along with 15,000 belly. And his weapon's literally a trident, which he has a 10% chance of dropping. And this trident is also pretty cool. It has a water pulse ability where you do damage to everything that's next to you. And the other ability is literally a grappling hook, and it's really cool and pretty fun to play around with. Alright, the next island is Skylands, and you might be thinking we already covered it, but remember when I said we would come back to it? Well, this is the upper part of Skylands. That's right, it has two different parts, and the upper part is a way higher level requirement. But the upper part has a 450 to 625 level requirement, and this is another one of the places just like the prison, which has two different quest givers. So the first people you're going to be fighting when you show up at this place are the Shandas. To accept their quest, you have to be at least level 475. Each one has a total of 5,000 HP, and they deal around 250 damage per hit. Once you complete their quest, you get 5,000 XP along with 9,000 belly. So after the Shandas, we got the Whisper boss, and this is a level 500 boss who uses a bazooka as his weapon. So you already know he's bad because he uses a gun. He has a total of 17,500 HP, and he does around 950 damage per hit. The next NPCs you fight are the Royal Squad. These guys have a level requirement of 525. You have to defeat 8 of them to complete the quest, but that's going to be pretty hard considering they have a total of 5,425 HP along with 220 damage per hit. But it's definitely worth it because the rewards are 5,800,000 XP along with 9,500 belly. Next NPCs are the Royal Soldiers. To fight these guys, you have to be at least level 550. Each one has a total of 5,650 health, and they deal around 260 damage per hit. And the rewards for these guys is 6,300,000 XP along with 9,750 belly. Moving on to the final boss of Upper Sky, the Thunder God NPC. He has a total of 23,000 health, and he does around 771 damage per hit. But his damage also kind of varies because he actually has a Rumble Fruit along with the Pole first form. And for a first C boss to have this is crazy. And once you kill him, you have a chance of getting the Rumble Fruit along with the Pole's first form. And once you complete the quest for this guy, you get 8 million XP along with 20,000 belly. Alright, next up we got the final island of the first sea, and this is called the Fountain City, and I'm sure you've all seen this. You literally can't miss it. It's massive. And this island is for people that go from level 625 to level 700. And the first quest you equipped on this island is for the Gallery Pirates. The Gallery Pirates are really solid NPCs that have a total of 5,625 health, and they deal around 209 to 217 damage per hit. Once you complete the quest for these guys, you get a total of 7,500,000 XP along with 10,000 belly. The next NPCs are called the Gallery Captains. These guys are found pretty close to the Gallery Pirates, but obviously since they're captains, they're a lot stronger. Each one has a total of 10,000 HP, and they deal around 180 to 230 damage per hit. And once you complete the quest for these guys, you get 10,000 belly along with 8,500,000 XP. And finally, we're moving on to the boss, the Cyborg. Cyborg is one of the strongest bosses in the first sea, if not for what comes next. He's a level 675 boss, and once you kill him, you have a 2.5% chance of him dropping you the Cool Shade, and this is a really solid accessory. He has a total of 43,000 health, and he does around 600 to 700 damage per hit. That's really difficult to fight if you ask me. And once you complete the quest for this guy, you get 10 million XP along with 20,000 belly. But that's it for the Fountain City. Alright, next up we got the final boss of the first sea. This is the Ice Admiral, and he's a level 700 boss. And the way you fight him is by doing a really long quest to capture the Swan boss, who actually ends up escaping into the second sea, and that's where you end up fighting him again. But anyways, let's talk a bit about this Ice Admiral boss. He has a total of 28,500 HP, and he has the old unawakened Ice Fruit, and he just punches you to do damage to you. And you can actually fight this boss only one time, and that's when you get a special key to open a place at the Winter Island. And once you head in there, you can just pummel him until you kill him. And once you do that, you'll actually get access to the second sea. But if you ever try to fight him again, you literally won't be able to do any damage to him because it's just a one-time quest.